how was Cali?
Cali. Oh man. Cali was good. Cali was good. A lot of synchronicities happened in Cali. Now, I went out there in the We Brands capacity, right? We were hired to do a film job. Is it We Brands?
Nice.
I don't think it's We Brands. See, I get confused sometimes because of these businesses share certain things that they do. The things that they do, like We Brands is marketing. The cinematic is media. And this was more media, but we were helping build the idea as well, which makes me think it's We Brands. I think it was cinematic.
So We Brands, we would say it's more marketing over merchandising.
Yeah, because it encompasses more than just merch.
Okay.
You know, I can consult you as well, you know.
Okay.
And then we can bring in outside people for film and editing and interviews and see what I'm saying? So that's why I say it's more marketing.
So it's more to help you start your brand than to actually Gotcha.
Absolutely. And
hence We Brands.
Yeah. And then cinematic does all the media end. So I guess they get outsourced.
So technically 2 of your companies went out there for work.
Technically 2 of them went out there. And I also I didn't really go out there to represent MB Ranch because there'd be no point. It's LA.
Cali,
it's Cali. So I was like, I'll leave MB Ranch here. That's more of a coastal thing probably for now. And then I was like, we're gonna have to represent cinematic. And I was like, well, let's represent the studios too, because people out there, if they know we're from New York, be like, hey, when you come out there, if you want to visit us, stop by. So I thought that would be a cool way to generate some attention.
Nice.
I made a whole bunch of shirts to go out there to promote Arafat and his thing that he's coming out, No Funerals for Robots. I had the Mosaic Mind t-shirt out there.
Oh, nice.
People asked me about it. I told them to tune in. But really what we went out there was to promote this new introduction of a superhero, but it's another new form of marketing. And as far as I know, that it's a joint venture between my companies and this new company called, I guess it's billboardsuit.com. I don't know what he named the company yet, but essentially,
if you get it's a website.
I think there's a website. I don't know if it's live.
Oh, okay.
So I got to figure that out.
If it is, and you do have it, by this time of seeing this, it'll be on the screen. If it is, if not, this might get cut.
But I know I can't shout out the Instagram. I think the Instagram is Waffle Hero.
Boom, that I could put
Waffle Hero. Now, the idea is pretty cool. It's a suit, like a jumpsuit, that has LED displays all over it. And it's just basically saying the name of the brand that you're promoting. And the suit is designed like in the colors of the brand. So we initially did a Coca-Cola suit. And then we went down to the headquarters of Coca-Cola and we walked around it, filmed. I interviewed him just so we can get some content and stuff like that.
Nice.
In his mind, and I think it's kind of cool because I remember my earlier visions of how something's going to happen for me. Like someone's going to see me doing what I do and they're going to be like, hey, man, do you want a shot doing this?
Yeah.
I think that's like a young man's dream to think that that's how it's going to happen, right?
Right.
So he was like, no, man, we're going to go and we're going to walk around the building. Someone's going to be in that office and someone's going to be like, hey, who's that guy? I want that guy and bring him up here. And we want to give you $1 million to do your idea. And I'm like, all right. I was like, I don't want to kill that, you know? So I'm like, yeah, man, that's totally possible. Totally possible. Somebody could be banging their secretary in there and be like, listen, what is that? All right, I got to pull out. What is that? All right.
Yeah.
So we get to the front gate and and people are walking out the gate and we hear over someone's walkie-talkie, what's going on out there? Like, who's out there? So somebody did hear us. And then I was like, okay, I know how to feed. You know what I'm saying? I know how to feed into things to build enthusiasm, right? So I'm like, okay, I told him, I was like, yo, bro, they saw you, they heard you, so you know what's going to happen now, right? Those security guards are going to tell people tomorrow that there's some crazy guy out there in a suit and this and that shit's going to trickle all the way up to the top, they're going to look for you.
That's true.
So that to keep his motivation going, keep him up, because I figured that's another reason why I'm hired to be here for, to blow up the idea, give it energy.
Yeah.
So then we went to Cali Grove, they call it. And little did we know, they had a McDonald's. They had a Coca-Cola museum. So we got way more footage of his suit all around the museum.
What that look like?
I don't know how to describe it. It was just like, I guess any of those pop-up museums like in the city, but it was just but they had like statue things of like Coca-Cola representation, like it was a fixture, it wasn't a pop-up thing.
Gotcha.
And his suit lights up and it's great in the dark and there's a lot of lighting in Cali Grove. And they have a big Ferris wheel and stuff. People were even, when I was shooting, they were throwing gang signs at me too. And I was like, yo, the gangs love it. This dude was like, film me. He started throwing up. I'm like, oh shit, that looked deadly.
Oh, yeah.
That looked sharp and that looked deadly. His fingers, the way he did, I'm like, they look like tarantulas. Like, I know, man.
Gotta be careful over there.
My boys used to be blood, so I was like, yo, these guys are crazy with the stacking. That's what they call it for you, people I don't know. Stacking. It looks scary.
I can
Stacking
imagine.
looks scary to the observer.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
if a gang guy came up to you and did the stacking with all that chest out bravado, you'd be like, oh shit, I'm
Like,
gonna
yo,
get cut with the
I'm
fingers.
just trying to get I'm trying to find a 7-Eleven. That's all I
I just
need.
wanted to grab the apple juice.
That's it. Just that. I'm good. I didn't even know this was a blue shirt.
What you want here, fool? So
Hey, you can take this shirt. I don't even want it no more.
so we went to there, and then I was like, I don't get it yet. I was like, boy, we got the footage. So that was the first trip. And this is me driving to Tennessee, then driving to Atlanta, then back to Tennessee, and then having to take his mother back to New York for 16 hours, nonstop talking straight.
Whoa.
I had to do all that in the name of cinematic weed brands. And I told myself, this is how far you got to go for your clients. This is the standard that we are going to set. And even though he's my childhood friend or whatever, I didn't go in it as that, because if I did, I would have been defiant. I would have been complaining. I would have been talking shit and trying to take control.
Yeah.
I went there just to do what he wanted done, business.
It was business.
And his mom raised me as a kid too, changed my Pampers and everything. I was like, yo, we even.
Yeah.
This 16-hour trip, we are even.
But now it's personal.
Don't ever mention what you did for me as a baby ever again.
Yeah,
we good now.
I feel that.
That was the first trip. Now we're gonna go to Cali. So
Yes.
now things are actually coming into better perspective. I mean, I'm like, listen, if we got Atlanta, if we got Cali, Vegas, and then New York, all that footage together could spark some interest. Now, he refuses to go the social media route because he doesn't understand social media. He has no idea about it. He never used it until recently. Out of all the years that it's been around, he's a military man, then he's a fireman, so it's not really, there's really no interest to him in that, you know what I mean? Like, he saves lives.
Yeah.
What does he care about your superficial bullshit?
Yeah.
That's one thing I give him credit for, man. As much as I talk shit and because we're friends and brothers at the end of the day, but that guy saves lives. You know, let's put that. Let's keep that right there. So now he's with the social media, but I guess he thinks more or less that his idea could be taken away from him, and he's just nervous about that. But he doesn't understand that social media is there for collaboration, for people to help you actually build and expand your idea.
It's
like
a social network.
They have what you need to make it bigger. I'm like, man, you're missing out. I see this guy, he made a Venom suit, he made an Iron Man suit, he made like projectiles that connect to something and he can swing. Like he was defeating like Attack on Titan. He blew up this doll, this like 20 feet or 30 feet doll, and then he was attacking it, or suspending and flying around. It was some crazy ass shit. But this guy,
crazy. Yeah.
Imagine if you told him your idea, he could probably build it for you. But you're limiting yourself of the people you can connect with, network with, because you don't want to utilize it. You're afraid to let your idea out there. I was like, but
so I was gonna say, is it that he doesn't know how to use it, or is it that he doesn't want it out there for like anybody?
He doesn't want anyone to just snatch the idea from him. I was like, but when it comes to copyright, what people don't know is copyright is created in the moment of inception of you putting pen to paper. Your copyright is created right there. Now how you go about proving that are the things that you submit and pay for. That's why you submit it to the gov for a proper copyright or a patent.
Right.
But if you have everything to prove that you're the one that created it first,
that's what they used to say. My school told me the poor man's copyright is to email it to yourself.
Exactly, because it's dated. You need a timestamp to show that you made, and that sometimes could be more than enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on how good people's lawyers are.
I was gonna say, if you're going up against a company, they could probably debunk it as
more or less. They'll just tie you up until your funds run dry.
Yeah,
and then they'll buy
to.
your copyright. They'll buy you out for pennies.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Right. So, luckily, I'm someone that doesn't care about money, so you'll never get it.
Exactly. But yeah, so more than copyright, it's more so he didn't want it out there.
I guess he just didn't want it out there yet. Right. And then he keeps saying that he has something to to defeat social media. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then see shit like that. When you say shit like that, I can't take you serious. You know what I mean? That's why I have to take the role of you hiring my business rather than me coming in as a friend helping you out. Like,
Yeah, so it's like I'm just here to do my part.
I'm here to do my
That's
part,
what you want to
and
do.
whether it floats or sinks is all on you. You know,
Right.
I'm gonna do everything that you want to the best of my capability. But if it doesn't work, it's not on me. You know what I'm saying? So we go out to Cali, and it's like my simulation gave him an upgrade. He was hard and difficult to work with before, but now that he's fully retired from both jobs and he's doing what he's passionate about completely, he upgraded to something more tolerable for me. That's why I keep saying this is my simulation. Why? When he came back to me with his idea, it went beyond the billboard thing. It went into what I was already bubbling doing, comic books. I've been writing crossover graphic novels with different IPs, like Saved by the Bell. This protect this shit too. Saved by the Bell and Fresh Prince and stuff like that, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then I've been making graphic novels for the projects that we're releasing through Cinematic. Almost every album that we have has a comic book to it, has its own story. Yeah. And so we're doing different stuff because, you know, as you get older, you really can't be the braggadocious rapper, right? Can't be cool no more.
Yeah.
You become more of a better storyteller with age, you know? So I'm like, you know what? We haven't aged out. We just have to come at it from a different angle. Right. Let's do, and I created cinematic music. You know what I'm saying? More storytelling, more atmosphere, more filling the sound with things that you can see rather than just only hear.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, now he tells me I wrote a comic book. I'm like, you wrote a comic book? And first I took it as like, motherfucker, why are you jumping on my shit?
I'm
like, I took it as an offense, but I was like, you know, you're not here as you're here as We Brand, so just read the damn thing and you know, you give your feedback, but you gotta keep that biased shit to yourself. You gotta be unbiased in the situation.
I mean, because it could be that you inspired him. Like, oh, you know, that sounds fun.
I didn't think about that. Then I started to, I guess, rationalize it for me to consume it because he kind of jacked another idea that turned into the billboard suit.
Oh, okay.
People try to tell me he jacked it, and then when I get mad at him, it gets. I never say it to him, and he'll probably never watch my podcast either because I don't know if there's kind of like an underlying competition in him.
Okay.
I hate that. But I guess he thinks it's just natural amongst men. To push you further and stuff like that. But I don't see competition with people, only with myself. You know.
Right.
So I wanted to give an unbiased opinion. So, and it wasn't until later that I realized that this is more for me than for him because now I'm able to help him more. And I'm able to enjoy helping him. And now I'm happy doing what I'm doing. Before I was just doing a job that We Brands and Cinematic got. But now I'm invested. So I read the story and I'm like, all right, it's not a bad story, but you know what I'm saying? I am a real writer. I've been writing since a kid, and I've write on so many different platforms and levels that I know what it is to write. So I'm like, this.
Are we talking about like script or comic
anything?
book? Okay.
There's nothing I can't write. So when he brought it to me, I was like, listen, this is not a bad idea, but you're trying to. And then this happened, then this connects, and it's all basically his life in the last 3 to 10 years, but in a storytelling way that doesn't make it seem like you wouldn't know it's him because you don't know him. I'm like, it's too personal. I was like, I see a way that we can reduce the story with less details, or all this information, and then just make 2 separate stories that later combine to do a crossover. And then because I'm big on crossovers, right? And now he's big on crossovers. The other day he tried to tell me we got to crossover Perfect Strangers with Cheech and Chong. I'm like, bro, man, you reaching. I'm like, are you just trying to show me or something? Like, now it's like, I'm like, because he comes off like this, and I'm like, this probably has more to do with me than him. Like
it's probably all in your head. And he's over there like, yo, I got something we could both work on.
So then, just to show my nuts, what I do, snap, I hit him back. Not even 3 minutes, the whole thing fleshed out. A whole idea, because I didn't see it at first. And I'm like, this makes no sense. You're just trying to just mash shit up just for the sake of mashing shit up. And then I made it. I actually blended Perfect Strangers with Cheech and Chong in the most funniest, tastefulest way with comedy and everything. And with elements of both of them. It was so good. I'm like, and then I was like, bam, done. Give me another one. And I do that at the bar with the shirts. I be chilling at the bar because I don't drink. So when people be like, yo, I want this shirt, this and that, I'm like, all right. Within 5 minutes, I just go on Adobe Express and I find pictures, blah, 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 clip art, bang. How about that? That's what makes a sale right there. It's kind of like a parlor trick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. If I may ask, how is it like chilling at a bar, but you don't drink?
I mean, it's fine for me because there's so much. You have your phone. I like playing. I like playing pool. I just drink seltzer water, which still has an aftertaste, so it kind of like tricks you a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I can also enjoy in like a soda or cranberry juice because I don't like to drink too much sugar. But when I'm there, I'm like, I'm not drinking alcohol. I can have some juice. You know what I'm saying? So I can lay back with the sugar there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it also gets me to interact more. I could be kind of recluse because I'm very focused on what it is that I'm trying to accomplish day by day. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of have to not force myself, but I have to be normal. I have to go out and interact. I got to go talk. I got to go show these things that are considered normal. You have to keep doing, or it's otherwise gonna fuck with your head.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Even physical touch. You go long periods without it. When you get it back, it's gonna seem fucking awkward and weird. So you need to kind of keep up with that. So I take dance classes because it's interaction, this and that. So you still stick with it. You know, I'm someone that doesn't like
what kind of dance?
Latin dance.
Shit.
Yeah, I don't like being touched more or less unexpectedly. Like if someone just comes up, or if I'm talking to somebody and they keep, this and that, like just.
Yeah.
I don't like it, man. You invading my space and you keep poking me more or less.
You got the right to feel that way. Yeah, that's fine.
And the thing that gets me tight is an unexpected boom. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being startled because I get startled.
Yeah. You know? I think a lot of people can say that. Yeah.
It boils down to feeling embarrassed from being scared. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it is. Yeah. And I know that.
I'm sure that's for a lot of people, and they never realized what it was until they just heard that.
I boil things down to the proper thing. I know it's not anger. I know it's not you. It has to do with me and my own reaction. You don't necessarily, it's something I got to deal with, but I let people know, like, not so much. Like, don't come around me putting your arm on me and breathing on me either.
That's just,
ever since COVID, I don't want you breathing on me. And people want to get close, and then I move back. Then they get closer. I'm like, you see me moving back, right?
Yeah, close talk is a phobia of mine.
He gave me the story. I read the story. Too much shit. Found a way to market it better, but he said we need two versions. The one that we sent to Coca-Cola, and he also has a new suit, Waffle Hero. That's what the comic book is based on, Waffle Hero. So he was like, Coca-Cola is probably too big. Let me go for Waffle House and create a character for them. Then he wrote this whole story. Then I morphed it, and then so then we went all over Hollywood. We went all over like the beach areas and stuff at nighttime, and we're just walking in the suit. Now, he can't stop in the suit. He has to keep moving because there's an issue. The issue is he can't do anything to tarnish the image of the business that he's promoting or his business itself. So if he kind of interacts with people for too long, it can lead them to like maybe twerk on him, maybe put like a blunt near him or something, or maybe want to engage and fight him. It happened in Nashville. He went to Nashville, and the guy was literally just yelling in his face the whole time because he just had to keep walking. The guy did not want to get out of his way. He purposely stood there, so my boy just walked through him. Because it was a little guy, and this dude is big. Yeah. So and the guy's like, "You need to acknowledge me. You need to say you're sorry." And he just kept walking, but in his mind, he's like, "If he touches me, I gotta kill him."
Was it the Bagel Boss guy? You know him? You're not God, and you're not my father.
Yeah, something like that. Yes.
Okay.
So and then he's walking. He's like, "I'm gonna have to kill him, and I'm gonna have to destroy his boys." But then it fucks everything up. Because then there's going to be footage out there.
It's connected to what he's branded doing. Yeah.
So he's like, oh, man, if this guy touches me, it's like it's all over. So from there, he realized that he
why does he have... I'm sorry to cut it. Why does he have to keep walking again?
Well, I think he built it into the character that him moving around generates more energy for the suit. But it's also because if he stands for too long and interacts with these people, there's more of a chance that they're going to do something that tarnishes the image. Now, obviously, you can't be too squeaky clean forever. Right. But he doesn't want to show people like, because Coca-Cola might not like that. Having people twerking or weed smoke or being like doing debauchery around him. Same thing with Waffle House. They probably want to keep a good image. Like they already have a bad image in the North as far as getting, you go there, you might get fucked up by the staff. When I tell him that, he thinks I'm crazy. I'm like, yo, up north, we think like all you're gonna do is get fucked up at the Waffle House. And we went there and they were having like teenagers having the end of their night over there. He goes, so you're still scared of the Waffle House? It's like, it ain't that I'm scared, motherfuckers. I'm on point. Don't act like you're not from New York. And we're on point everywhere we go. We're not scared. We're on point.
Yeah.
We're noticing what the fuck can go down.
You analyze the situation.
Anything that can go down will go down.
And that's kind of what makes me an introvert more so than anything else. Because it's like, You don't got to go through all that when you just stay ass home and do what you got to do, keep to yourself. When I'm out, I got such like social anxiety. It's crazy because I'm always like,
it's too much stimulus probably.
That too. I never want to say the wrong thing. I never want to say a joke that's too inappropriate. I never want to say something offensive. I always feel like the more I'm out there, the more I have a chance of fucking up.
I also think though, if you're more consistent with that kind of delivery, it'll be accepted because they can't fault you for who you are. That's why. That's why I never deviated from being an asshole. And I was like, it's who I am, and it's funny.
Yeah, you know, if people like you, they'll like you. If they don't, then they don't even need to be in your life anyway.
Exactly. At the end of the day, they're not fitting. So, we got all the footage, and then we started to notice something because I started to tell him about following the signs and the path that the way things have been syncing up the past year or so. That I'm like, damn, I'm supposed to be where I'm supposed to be. Yeah, I know that I'm supposed to be here because of the way things are lining up together. So now on the trip, the number 3 started revealing itself to us big time. And then so we started following it, right? We went to get gas. Now, I was adamant about getting Costco gas. I'm the one renting the car. And I got the Costco card, and I like to flex because I could go nationwide and get cheap gas.
Right.
So I'm like, we going to get that. He tried to play me saying, yeah, man, these lines are crazy. People want to save 20 cents on gas. I'm one of them. He's being an asshole. Yeah. We go there. We're waiting. And the whole time that I'm there, I'm jonesing to go to a comic book store. Because it's new comic book week, I didn't get my pulls in or whatever. Pulls meaning the new issues for that week for your collection. Okay. And I'm like, I need to see a comic book store in LA, man. I got to see how they do it out here. They probably got exclusives.
Right.
So when we get there, we found one in Vegas. We were going to Vegas to shoot in front of the Oculus. They call it the Sphere, but I call it the Oculus. That big dome shit that looked like an eye or the moon.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
We were going to put the suit and have that in the background.
Okay.
So now we're getting the gas to go there. I go in the back seat and I reach and I look back. There's a comic book store behind us, right behind us.
Wow, what is?
And we're like, oh man, I see the word. It says Excelsior. Now anybody that knows comics knows Excelsior refers to Stan Lee. That's what he used to sign and used to always say.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I'm like, man,
R.I.P. Stan Lee.
R.I.P. Stan Lee. So when I'm looking at that shit, I'm like, are they just using that to promote the store? Or is it Stan Lee's store? Does he have something to do with it? Or are these guys like posers or vultures, culture vultures that are just using the name because they know what it refers to?
Yeah.
So I'm like, we got to go in there, right? When we get to the door, now mind you, there's 3 of us. When we get to the door, I look in the door and I'm like, oh man, they're not even like, they only got like collectibles. I see Funkos. They're not really open. And I was like, all right, whatever. The third person of our party goes, nah, man, we came here. It was his sister. He goes, no, we came all this way. We're going inside. Like, you wanted a comic book store. I was like, but it doesn't. And we're walking out. I was like, don't look like there are comic books here. So then we go around. I do find comics. I do find some of the comics that I want. And then we're talking to the guy. We tell him about the superhero thing. And we end up getting a gig for the next day.
Whoa.
Got a gig for the next day. And I'm like, wow, man, that's fucking cool. We got a gig. We got to go to Vegas first. And then we got to come back tomorrow for the gig and get all this footage. Number 3, right? They've been closed for 3 years, right? We showed up on the second day that they've been reopened for a gig on the 3rd day. Third person got us in. They've been closed for 3 years. The gig is for the 3rd day of their opening.
3.
So now we make it down to Vegas, right? 4-hour trip. We go there and we make it to the Oculus and we prepare, right? We do the perimeter. Oculus turns off. Doesn't turn back on the rest of the night. Guess how many sides of the perimeter we completed before it turned off? 3. We got all that footage of 3 sides. Boom. And I was like, we made it just in time. And we got 3 sides out of the thing. All right. We after we did like that tunnel thing where they do the zip lining shit, everything went off without a hitch. No one bothered us. Everybody was looking. I handed out mad cards to people to follow and this and that.
Nice.
And then from that point, he wanted to make a bet on the number 3 at 3:00 in the morning. So we find the roulette table. We put the bet on number 3. We used table number 3. We didn't win.
Oh, I was about to fucking say, yo.
So before the bet, I think the bet was like,
how you hype it up like that? Say we didn't.
But watch where that leads to.
Okay.
Because there was enlightenment in that. It wasn't a loss. It was a sign. It was a message.
Oh, okay.
So when when we made the bet, I think he put 20. I was like, nah, put 5. Put 5 more, 25. We walked away. I was like, yo, Temis, what's 5 minus 2? 3.
3.
I was like, you bet an increment of 3 also. I was like, we bet in 3. So we got that. Then we went to go
Where
eat.
did the 2 come from? I'm just
25. It's a 5 minus 2.
Oh, gotcha.
When people stack numbers to look for signs, that's how it works. So I was like, the presence of 3 is still there.
Yeah.
So I was like, we bet in 3. He was like, man, I wish we would have won that. That would have proved that this number 3. I was like, that was a sign to show us that that's not how we're gonna get it. That was a sign to show us that don't bet on what you're doing and just do what you're doing. Don't bet on it because it's not gonna come that way. You're not gonna win it. You're gonna get it. You're not gonna win it. It's not gonna happen just like that. You're gonna build it, and then before you know it, you're gonna see it. So we go and get some food. Can't find a freaking buffet, and then we sit in the restaurant. Guess what table? We didn't ask.
3.
And the best part that came out about it is that I'm looking at $16.95 chicken wings. I'm like, fuck, man. Nobody gonna give you 6 chicken wings for $17. That pile of chicken wings was up to here.
Oh, shit.
Crazy amount. I was like, to me, that I was like, yo, that's following the number 3. Look at the amount of these. You would never get amount of these buffalo wings anywhere for this, anywhere.
I hope you got 33.
So then the check ended in a 3. So that was another sign. And then we kept just saying the number 3. We go back to the gig for the next day. We go inside, dressed up, and I found this soundtrack of the movie Tron that added to the techno-ness, cyberpunk-ness of the whole character.
Yeah.
We just walk right into the store. Some guy starts yelling, no, what are you guys doing? No, what is this? And my boy, after a while, finally breaks character and says, I forgot the dude, the contact we were supposed to meet. Like, yeah, he said that he knew we were coming. He goes, he's not here today. Then some dude just steps in and goes, oh, I know about them, man. Yeah, they're cool. They could do this. He goes, all right, then I just won't be a dick. You guys can film. We filmed. We're outside and we're recapping.
Side note, do you have a picture of this costume? Like,
yeah, I do.
I'm just so curious to see what everybody else was seeing.
So at that point, we're outside. We're recapping. The dude that vouched for us, he comes out. We're talking to them. He goes, yeah, I had no idea you guys are here, man. I was just trying to be cool because it seems cool what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
The other dude comes out. And then he turns out to be really nice.
Oh, nice.
So then when we told him that we're developing a comic book, the guy that vouched for us goes, this is the man you want to talk to. Go ahead. Apparently, he was like a road manager for Stan Lee. That store had connections to Stan Lee. We went back inside and started noticing all the signatures of Stan Lee. And where my hand was a picture that Stan Lee drew of fucking Spider-Man, a scribble with his signature. I'm like,
whoa.
So the way that his sister,
the comic.
Then he tells us that he's working with like to put out a new comic book. Like he's representing the artist that's doing new comic book.
That's dope.
They're gonna be in Comic-Con. They're gonna have a 20x20 table promoting the new stuff. Come by, meet the artist, and he gave us a price range. And he goes, then come by the suite. And then guys can really vibe and, start getting to know like the business a little bit, because I have all my original stuff. Then we have the crossovers of other people's stuff. And then we have his original thing. So we got a lot of stuff.
Right.
He has money to get his project going right away.
Okay.
So we looked at all that. We're like, I can't believe it. We came here with nothing and left with everything. Not only do we got Stan Lee vibes, we got a direct connection. You know what I'm saying? And all of this happening on the number 3. There were a few more synchronicities of the number 3, but the best one was when we were getting back on the bus from the where we dropped off the car. We're talking to this gentleman, right? And then he's more or less connected with him because they're both Mexican. He starts turning the wheel and he points at me. I'm like, he had 3 dots. He had 3 puntos. I guess that was the gang. And we had I don't know if you ever heard of Blood In, Blood Out, the movie. So there's a tree in the movie that they all go and visit. We actually went to that movie. We actually went to that spot. We went to that spot. And for me, it's iconic because that movie I grew up with. I went with 3 people, went with Mexicans, so it's very authentic.
Good shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you did it right.
Mind you, that's a gang in the movie, Tres Puntos. And he had 3 dots in his shit. I'm like, that connects to what we did earlier. And this guy, and like, he goes, that's a cap to that the universe sanctioned this trip. Allowed all this stuff to build our path to something else. Okay, boom. We come back home. Now I'm antsy because I'm like, his sister works for She handles $150 million to $200 million orders, like, because she makes sure you got your guap and your chips and your queso cheese and all that bullshit. She's the one that gets it to where it has to go. Like, she's big over there.
Right.
So she's telling us, fuck your $5,000, forget $1 million. Like, there's $150 million, bro, cash flow. Like, she has severe ADD, so she's all over the place.
Oh,
I don't know how she focuses on work. And she's like, do you understand? There's people from Google out here. My dog shits all over the place, and people from Google walk their dogs in the same place. Meaning, like, you gotta understand, like, you're thinking too small.
Yeah.
And I was like, she's right, in a sense. Why go after $1 million? Go after $100 million. It's gonna take the same amount of effort.
True.
It's gonna take the same amount of effort. Go for $100 million. No more million. Walking down the street to go get vegetables, this commercial real estate agent in New Rochelle, Nick Russo, approaches me. Known him for mad long, since I was 25 when I tried to open up a cafe gourmet market in New Rochelle on Main Street. He tells me there's this guy, he has this property, he doesn't know what to do with it. Just come meet him, come talk to him. You know, so I go over there, talk to him. The guy goes, I've heard enough about you. I want to give you the space. I'm like, what are you talking about? I was like, he goes, Nick told me all about you. You have the We brands. I love that. I want to be food blogger. I have a book coming out. He's Indian, by the way, so I might go in and out of an accent. So
Okay.
he wants to be a food blogger. And I was like, oh, that's bet. That's what we do. We'll blow you up. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got the content ready to roll. So we're good to go.
Nice.
But then he's like, I want you to run the whole place. There's an existing building in like a back lot. It's like 12,000 square feet, right? I can move all 3 of my businesses over there, then create a business of a market, like a grab and go situation, then fill the whole back with lunch trucks. This is my idea. It's not his, my idea.
Yeah.
And I'm reincorporating or rebirthing an idea I had from when I was 25 called City Market, a one-stop spot for food and things food related, which is what led to this one-stop spot for entertainment and marketing, right?
Right.
Now I have the opportunity
Same
to
idea,
combine
different
both.
product. Yeah.
And I have 12,000 square feet. I have this huge venue. And I'm like, I'm going to bring food and art together to create culture and start a new community of the old and new people of New Rochelle. The new people moving in with the older residents that have been here for a long time. I'm like, I thought of all this in like a few hours, like of being there.
Yeah.
How this happened? Because I put that energy out there that I want to be a part of the $100 million conversations. They're redeveloping that whole area.
Yeah, they are.
All new skyscrapers. How much those buildings cost? So if I get into a property with a lease or a partnership or joint venture, I got to get bought out at some time.
That's true.
So as we're talking to the guy, he's been depressed for 3 years. He's been trying to get that place open for 3 months. And I'm just noticing this. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? And he just started talking to his son after a long time 3 weeks ago. Okay. All of that there into perspective. I'm like, I'm supposed to be here right now.
Right.
I'm supposed to be here right now. So I put it into high gear. I move my businesses over. My brother already comes in. To
the place.
I started cleaning the whole place out already. I formed a dream team at the drop of the hat. 2 ex-general managers from Adonko Key, 1 floor manager from Modern Pizzeria, the big restaurant over there.
Pizza, yeah.
1 of their floor managers. Then I had an aide to the senator of the district of where the property was, a soon-to-be city council member, of New Rochelle, that all were interested in the idea of food and culture, food and art making culture. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then I had my brother, who's he's like knows about hard labor and stuff. He did a job on that place that would have took 5 people, and he did it all by himself. So he's not a laborer, it's something bigger than that. I don't know what you would call it. Yeah. And I put all these people together. Oh, and an investor contractor to come in and evaluate the place. I did all that within that day.
Wow.
So then I moved the businesses there.
This shit, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's not a lot of people could say that.
I did that all within that day. Vision and the team.
That's drive. Like that's motive. Yeah, that's.
So we made it to the weekend or whatever. Then we noticed when we got to the negotiations, things started to fall apart. Now, he told me I had full control, full range, veto, all this stuff, joint venture. You will be taken care of in the buyout.
Right.
I realized this isn't I can't buy into your company, number one, because I don't want to assume any of your liability and any of your debt. I don't want none of that.
Right.
So we can't form a new corporation because of the liquor license. You know, it's hard to transfer that.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, so this isn't a lease situation. This is me being almost, I don't know if this is the right word, COO, Chief Operating Officer, probably. I don't know if that's, or Chief Executive. It might be a CEO. I don't know. Or I don't think it's not financial officer that. Because I'm managing the
operations.
So I'm managing the business and running the property, you know?
So I guess it's more operations officer.
Either or.
Either way. Yeah.
So I was like, listen, I'm going to have to command a salary. And then
CEOO.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds like something new. Yeah. So then I told them that I'm going to have to command a high salary with a percentage. And I'll give up my percentage for my brother because for some reason he seemed to take a big liking to my brother. He just loved my brother. And he also wanted him to have a percentage. So I was like, listen, I need a contract of at least 5 years if they're going to buy this place out in 2. So that way they take care of me and I don't take any of the money you make. Right. They have to give me my separate thing. They have to fulfill my contract. That's a stipulation. $200,000 a year with 30% profit. I didn't realize what I was saying till much later because these numbers I got from my contractor, more or less. He told me because he told me 2 forms of a deal: either a 10-year lease, so they buy you out there, or you command $200,000 a year, 30% for 5 years. So I said that. It fell all apart. Everything that we did, it fell all apart. And then I was like, that's fine. I was upset, and it was more upset because I had to move everything back. And then I'm thinking about it.
Because you moved everything over there. Oh, fuck. And you got all this shit done, and oh, man.
Okay. And then I kind of look, I have to suffer humility because everybody, I wanted to put it out there so fast and so strong that this is going to happen.
Right.
I didn't want to waste any time thinking it might not happen. I don't know. It was 90-10 the whole time. I was only rocking on 10%. Of this actually happening, but I was enough for me.
But it was enough to.
It was enough for me. 10%. You know.
Yeah.
So everything fell apart. And obviously and then I started to really look at it because I wasn't down. I was like, fuck, where's my next move?
Right.
So I was like, I just go back to what I was doing, but then I'm like, everything seems lighter now. Seems way more easier. This 2 years that I was going to lock myself into was going to be the biggest thing I've done in a very long time. Mixing what I have now with something brand new, probably commanding like maybe 50 people under me. I'm like, so I like the fact now that all this seems way more easier.
Yeah.
I got that out of it. I got into the position to command $1 million salary, bro. I didn't realize that. That's what 5 years would have been $200,000. That's 1 million years in salary. That's 1 million years. That's $1 million in salary plus the percentage.
Yeah.
That deal was going to be worth a few million. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that till later that I put myself in that position to get that. That one of the general managers that I brought in, he's been depressed for a while. He hasn't been wanting to put much effort. Now, when I brought him in, it invigorated him. Now I have him to look as an ally to build new businesses because now we're working together, right?
Right.
The owner of the place, he realizes that because he almost had like a heart attack in the negotiation. He started grasping because I'm a passionate person, so like my octave,
like physically during the conversation.
Yeah, my octave goes up sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So within that, he started like, Washington, you have to stop it with what you're saying. And I'm like, all right, man, all right. Because I was getting upset too.
Yeah.
And my partner, the other GM, is just sitting there calm. He's like, oh shit. This motherfucker gonna die right now.
Oh my God.
And I pulled it back.
Would that be considered, I might cut this out, but would that be considered involuntary manslaughter?
I have no idea. If I would have kept going, If I would have kept going, but I held my composure at that point.
Yeah, not smart, but yeah.
But it put into his mind that he ain't really, because he has health problems, and I don't think his family going to take care of him. So that's why he needs to make some kind of money from this thing, and he can't deal with any of it. That's why as soon as I got there, he redirected all the meetings of any distributor or any potential person wanting to do something there to me. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just jumping in the seat and having meetings all day, every day for the past week. Right. And while my brother's busting his ass, and then I'm doing extra moving on top of that. So it also made him realize that he can't do this. So I think it kind of saved his life in a sense, because in that moment, he went to the lawyer next door and switched everything over to a trust. So now he doesn't have to kill himself over this anymore. So you basically
showed him really what he was going to get into.
Yes, because I'm like, yo, bro, this isn't going to be the only type of conversation we're going to have like this. It's going to be like the next years of this. You know, I don't know if you're ready for that. He wasn't, and he knows. So I think maybe he added a few more years to his life in that moment. That was for him. It was for Kwame. It was for my brother. My brother's been kind of stagnant on getting his own shit going.
Mm-hmm.
He proved to himself what he can do in that moment. So now he's invigorated to get his own shit started.
Nice.
I just saw that this thing, I think, was more for everyone as a collective rather than just me, because a lot of people thought that this was my moment. This is where everything happens right now. I thought it too. I wanted to make this that moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't that though. For me, it was to prove to me you're on the right path, bro. And let's see what you got though. Let's see what you got. If that opportunity presents itself for 100 million, you're gonna step up to the challenge. Yeah, right. I did it. I already did it. It's not my fault it didn't go through. It had nothing to do with me. It's all based on circumstance. But I met the fucking challenge, bro. I met the challenge, and I saw $1 million in my sight easy.
So in your mind, if something like this happens again, you wouldn't change how you approach the situation. You
go right the same way. No. It wasn't that. Why? The distributors that I was working with kept calling me. And I told them, I was like, listen, I'm not with him no more. You can talk to him. One guy was like, listen, I understand that, but I have a lot of accounts, and they will all be interested in a consultant like you. I was like, all right, I got to get back to you on that. And then I hung up the phone like, consultant? That's what I was doing. So I called the other GM, and I was like, listen, you know the business of this stuff. I have vision, artistic vision. You know what I'm saying? And I could talk. Why don't we put that together? I'll call this guy, see what he's talking about, and offer him as like another business of consulting. And we could just do that whenever they call us. And we charge them a fee just to tell them, we think you should do this, we think you should do that. And that's it. Yeah. And then I come back to here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's stretching myself, because it adds to me being creative. It keeps exercising my brain. But do you see all these synchronicities of 3 that led to that conversation of being in the $100 million conversation? Yeah, I was only going to come out with maybe a few million, but I was also going to come out with all these new brand names and a new reputation and all these new connections I would have made there. All these, like, you know.
Not to mention you got 3 companies.
3 companies.
That's another thing.
This was a full circle moment for me, because I got to bring back City Market. The first thing that kind of technically failed, but I don't really believe in failure. You know what I'm saying?
It just hasn't been success yet.
Exactly. We haven't figured out how to do it the right way yet. And, and this, I thought it was going to be it. And I'm pretty sure that it would have been if it wasn't for the owner's circumstances, situation.
Yeah.
But look at how fast that went, man. That one trip to LA got us all this stuff and then went to there. But I'm not even done with that LA story yet. When I came back, I wanted to do some research on the people we connected with. Come to find out, that store has a bad stigma. That store I think it might have worked itself out, but that store has a connection in the elderly abuse of Stan Lee.
Really?
His manager was brought under charges brought by his daughter for overworking him, stealing from him, and funneling money from his appearances into that store.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
I called my boy right away. I was like, luckily we didn't hand over any money yet, because embezzlement was involved.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, I mean, what's for them just to take your $5,000 and run with it?
Yeah.
But then it got me thinking. I'm like, listen, man, that's a big thing. Now, I hope people care more about Stan Lee, that they wouldn't do business with somebody that actually did that. Meaning that store probably had to go through the litigation and the charges, and maybe they came out on the other end showing that wasn't the fact.
It was just, that's definitely a possibility. Yeah.
Maybe it only relates to that manager, because I think I only saw one manager in most of the publication, but the guy that we connected with was involved in the articles.
Oh, okay.
But so he was involved in the lawsuit, but I don't think he was involved in the charges.
Probably
so I'm
because they were connected business-wise. So
I'm like, man, for them to reopen, use the same name, and then hook up with an athlete, a high caliber athlete like that's a celebrity athlete.
Yeah.
And then have a 20 by 20 table at Comic-Con. I'm like,
yeah, something's got. I mean,
they probably came out good on that other end. We're probably still all right, you know what I mean? But I have to. What my plan is to go around to other comic book shops and see if they heard of the situation, know what the outcome is, because it wasn't.
Do your homework on it.
Hasn't been posted. But imagine that though.
That's
like,
crazy.
we got the Stan Lee vibes, but look at what it costs.
But it's not the best Stan Lee vibes. Yeah.
What I take from that again, but we on the right track.
Absolutely.
I started doing this graphic novel thing just a year ago, and look how I'm just made it to Stan Lee, man. That's how I'm looking at it, bro.
Look at it like that.
I'm standing next to somebody that worked with Stan Lee, so there's not 6 degrees of separation. What is it, 1 or 2? So not bad.
Copy.
It's pretty cool, man. But yeah, so like I said, we lost that deal. We don't have it. We're back here in the regular studios. The only issue now is we might lose one room. It looks like we don't know yet. I'm going to keep the vibes going that we're going to get it, the energy in the right place. But I'm only human, so that thought can't escape now that it's there.
Right. Well,
I think we're going to get it.
Yeah,
I think we're going to keep it. Otherwise, there's a new plan then, obviously. There's always a new plan. Everything's going to work out. Exactly. Just adjust, obviously.
Yeah.